Get everybody pretty scared and worked up. Then he pointed out that rock right above Larry's head back there. Called that rock the Keystone, said that was just about ready to fall, and when that thing fell, the whole thing was going to come tumbling down. Now, you think I'd let Larry stand underneath that thing if I was worried it was going to fall? Yeah, this stuff has been sitting like it is for about 12,000 years without moving, so we don't have a whole lot to worry about. The Keystone is much better attached than it looks to be.
Should I pull it out?
Don't touch it.
Okay.
Want to sneeze?
Anyway, we know it's about 12,000 years old because of the layer of calcite that's starting to form over the rocks here. It's even starting to fuse them together in a few places, so this thing is a lot more stable than it used to be. And there's a whole lot of calcite fusing that one, the rocks around it. Anyway, this is called a breakdown. Fancy schmancy word for cave-in. You can have different effects in the cave by closing off old passageways, opening up new ones, and this one even opened up a whole new entrance to the cave. And it's actually directly above us through all this rubble here. And we're going to be seeing that entrance in a few stops up ahead. Now remember I told you guys we bypassed an old tour path by going through that connecting tunnel back there? And we're going to be joining up with the old path again in the next stop here. Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge. Low bridge.
Keep moving in here, please. Can I use your flashlight, Larry?
Of course.
More potent than mine.
Sure.
We
No.
have an expert.
Are you here, Larry?
Everybody's accounted for.
Are you sure?
No.
Are you sure that you're you?
In the cave, everything changes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to make you. You glad you got that bump cap? Yeah. Anyway, if you guys look over the edge, that's the old path people used to take. They walk along here, climb up that there, easy spot, walk along this kettle ledge here, and then these ropes climb up this wall right here. It's not nearly the worst of it, so you can see why a lot of people wanted to take a different path. Now we don't walk around down there too much anymore. Occasionally we do. I got to go down there to replace the light, and it's pretty fun. Anyway, it wasn't a family tour. And you probably noticed the big ugly round thing down there. We call that a BURT, B-U-R-T. It's an acronym for big ugly round thing. Really, it's a water collector. It was put there by the National Park Service to collect some of the water so they can test it, see how much carbonic acid is in it. And you know what? We have too much carbonic acid in the cave right now. And it's all because of forest fires. Now normally forest fires come through this area about every 30 to 40 years. Now the people are here, they've been fighting fires, keeping them away. We haven't had one through in about 80 years. And all those dead leaves and trees on the surface, not getting burned off like they used to. And that stuff's building up, rotting away, giving off lots and lots of carbon dioxide, and making the water so acidic, it's starting to dissolve away some of the formations instead of form them. So you can see why that's a problem. So to correct the problem, the Park Service is going to do some controlled burns on the surface later this year to burn some of that stuff off. And they're going to keep those water collectors in the cave for about 5 years afterwards, so they can keep testing and see how their plan works. And it's important to do the testing because nobody's ever done this before, so they got to really make sure it's going to work and do something for the cave. Now, if they were doing the burns, it would get kind of smoky down here, and it would get even smokier.
Low bridge.
No bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge. Low bridge. Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge. Anarchy.
Is that bump worth $1?
Yeah.
There's nothing like rock food.
Really, huh?
He was jealous of your spot. Huh?
I wanted this one. This is way up. I'll tell you, Larry, a little better to get it moving.
You guys touching formations back there or something?
I tried to take a picture and first wouldn't come on.
Oh,
Beautiful though.
well, the
I
best,
know.
best place, the best picture places are still to come, so
Oh, good.
you haven't missed out on a whole lot. Okay, here we are at that entrance I said we'd be seeing, which means we're standing right on top of the big pile of rocks we were standing underneath a few moments before. Yeah, this is called the 110 entrance because people thought it was 110 feet above the place we came in. We know it's about 85 feet above now, but it still keeps its old name. This is a place where anybody can leave if they feel they've had their fair share of cave for the day. But everybody's going to stick with me, right?
Right.
I just want you to know, though, we're not quite halfway through yet. We still have most of the stairs to climb. And it gets a little bit lower, a little bit dark in a few places, but you guys can handle it, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Now, this used to be the main entrance to the cave for quite some time. And I showed you the old path. It was pretty rough, so a lot of people just skip it. They come in here instead and head farther into the cave. And as we head farther down, we'll be seeing some more signs of humans here. Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low
Low
bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Bridge.
Low bridge.
Oh, this is nice. Sand at the beach when we make the.
Okay, here's the Banana Grove one right here. And the potato patch.
Banana Grove.
Banana Grove.
Look at that cute.
Potato patch.
Banana grove.
Oh, here's potato
Yeah.
patch.
Yes, that's a
Banana grove.
Potato patch.
Potato patch. Low bridge. Oh, low bridge.
Low bridge.
Potato patch and low bridge.
Potatoes and low bridge.
Low bridge.
Just looks slimy.
Low bridge.
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 Come on down.
And then you two can stand double on the step there. Alright. Now, can anybody spot any signs of humans in this room beside the pathway and the lights?
Yeah, some of those are broken off.
Yeah, a lot of broken formations up here. Also a lot down to your feet through here. Yeah, a long time ago, people didn't know how slowly these things grew. A lot of people thought they grew right back, kind of like icicles. So they didn't see much of a problem with breaking them off. This is the last room people could get to for quite some time, so they'd break off the souvenir here to take home with them. Well, it was ignorance. You can't do much about that. Anyway, there's another sign of humans in here. It's a little bit harder to spot. Can anybody see it?
Charcoal burn marks?
No.
Okay.
Writing right here?
Yeah, there's writing all over this formation back here. It's pretty faint, but it's all the way up through here. Through here, there's some here, over here, up here. Again, it wasn't much of a problem for them. And they wrote their names on the wall to prove they've been here because it was quite an accomplishment getting it all the way up the mountain back then and through the cave to this point. And so they wanted to show all their friends that they've been here. Anyway, some of them are pretty significant, like this one right up here. That's the signature of geology professor Thomas Condon. Came here with his geology class. He signed his name at the top, the names of all the people in his class. He put the date down there. Let's see, May 4th, 1885.
Boy, that's amazing that stayed like that.
Yeah, you know what's even more amazing? No, his signature helped in the study of geology, even though he didn't intend it to. Because since 1885, a thin layer of calcite has started to grow over his writing. Some of you see those little white marks there? So where some modern geologists measured that layer of calcite, they used the date and they figured out that the formations in this part of the cave grow at the rate of about 1 millimeter every 100 years.
Great.
It's a very slow process. Has anybody here ever been to the University of Oregon? You remember Condon Hall? That's him right there. Okay. Another interesting signature is right up here. It says, "Please don't destroy." Signed WCB. It's kind of faint, so a lot of people won't be able to see it too well, but those up close can probably see that WCB spelled destroy, D-I-S-S-T-R-Y, or distry. But we're not talking about his spelling abilities right now. That's kind of ironic because we see the signature as a form of destruction, but WCB was probably talking about those broken form anytime soon. And we do know who wrote that. WCB stands for Walter C. Birch. And if it wasn't for Walter C. Birch, a lot of the cave we'll be seeing up ahead would never have been discovered. Anybody think they know what the initial C in his name stands for? Low Bridge.
Low Bridge.
Low Bridge.
Low bridge.
Low Bridge. I need everybody to start down to the end over there. Yes. Watch your head. Why don't you stand up a little bit closer and have them stand behind you. Alright. Let's get you two right up here. I just got snow. Okay, let's get you two right up here. So we can make room for the last two. Here.
Wow.
I'm sorry for the darkness, but there's a light out. Now, back in that small passageway we just had to cross through, some of the area Walter Birch had to chip through. And once he got through, some people made it a bit bigger, but you still had to crawl on your belly. And by the time the 30s rolled around, people said, heck with this, and blasted the big tunnel through it. Anyway, once Walter Birch got through all that, boy, the cave had something fun in store for him now. A deep, dark, black, into nothingness. Think about all the work he had to do.
Pretty spectacular.
It's dripping.
Well, he put one in my head.
Look how deep they have it. Yeah, they've really done a good job. They must have gotten serious about it. Drill.
Okay.
Down there, waiting for you. Pieces.
Alright, let's see what we can do here.
Each step is a second.
Yeah. That's the bowl. Just think how long you took. Especially if you did it the other one.
2 more steps.
One more.
You must have gotten this into
Oh,
So fast.
give me a minute.
Just a minute. Are you down there yet?
No, I'm not.
And on the bottom.
Can I limbo around?
Low Bridge.
One more. You there.
I don't think you got a good
I'm
spot there.
short, but this is ridiculous.
column.
I just rock by.
More like an hour. Well, you know, almost an hour.
I don't care. We can get more rules. Two more days.
A little bit more there.
Keep going.
Somebody had a man mark on the concrete.
Yeah, I understand. I mean,
I'm glad I didn't have
That's it.
Weedy little bitch. Low bridge.
Oops, low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
No, no bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge. Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
Low bridge.
A little bit less loud.
I made a big breakfast.
I want to look it up.
you see here, is people putting off here.
You got moving a little bit more there. And the left. Ooh. Right in the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody dropped their brochure, huh? Oh, this pretty bright flashlight.
Yeah.
There.
That's a little dagger.
Oh, yeah?
So in case it gets really bad.
How much do those cost?
25?
Yeah?
It's
That's good.
great. It's very,
I
very.
think it looks similar to one of the ones a tour guide has, and it uses four
Yeah,
4C batteries
This is
though.
4 double.
It uses 4C and it's really bright. It's pretty good light though. Anyway, we're getting off the point here. As you can see though, formations did keep getting pretty big. We got some pretty significant ones in here. First of all, there's the tallest column in the cave right there. That's quite as thick as the grand column. Obviously a lot taller. It's actually called the tallest column in the cave. We also have the tallest stalagmite in the cave back there. And it's called the tallest stalagmite. Yeah, it's called the Washington's Monument. You might see a bit of a similarity. And we also have a couple very large stalagmites, affectionately known as Stumpy and Lumpy. Now this room is named after a poet and author until I started working here. But he wrote a lot of old Western stories and poems and things like that. And he was actually better known in Britain. A lot of British people really like to read his stuff. And he was a good guy. He wrote a lot of neat things and pretty interesting guy. Also kind of a strange name. He walked around pretty much full-time in pure white cowboy duds. Changed his name from Cincinnatus Miller to Joaquin Miller after the Mexican bandito Joaquin Murrieta. So he was really into the cowboy thing. And he came here in around 1907 to look around, do some exploring. And he was so inspired by the Oregon Keys, and this room here in particular, that he wrote a story about the whole thing. He called that story Oregon's Marble Halls, and it was published in Sunset Magazine in August of 1909. That story is important because it was the first national recognition the Oregon Keys had ever received. So thousands of people started hearing about the cave nationwide, and you know, they all showed up.
Now he's got a job.
Well, yeah, that brings us right back around to first tour guide in the cave, Dick Rowley, because all these people needed a tour guide, needed someone to keep them from getting lost and keep them entertained.
Low bridge.
Hey, you're cheating.
Must be a rail.
You stick one rock out there.
Okay. This is the largest room in the cave. It's called the Great Ghost Room. It used to be called the Mammoth Room until Dick Rowley started coming in and telling a lot of ghost stories, and that's how the name changed. And amongst other things, he tells the story of the Widowmaker above our heads right here. The story went that every 30 days this rock here would fall, crush a couple of guys, and make a few more widows. It would then be sucked right back up again by the magical process of capillary action. Ready to fall again on the 30th day, of course. And I remember coming through when I was about 7 years old or so, and I remember them telling me that was called poison rock. One drop, and it will kill you. One of the few things I remember from that tour, I thought it was pretty fun. Anyway, the highlight of the ghost room was right down at the bottom. Down in that low area, Dick Rowley set up some big red lights in a smoke machine to simulate lava. He stood on that rock there, pointed it out, and said, "This is Dante's Inferno, the gateway to the underworld. But don't be afraid, because my cavemen will protect you." And he had a bunch of guys, 20s and 30s.
He said he was 7, I don't know if that.
No, you're getting your times mixed up. That was when I was 7. But he was calling that the Widowmaker in the 20s and 30s. They called it the Poison Rock in the 80s, and now I tell you about both. That was in the 20s and 50s. Okay, getting off the point again. And Dick Rowley still had a lot of show in store for his guests. His show continued right up the stairs over there to a room that he himself discovered. It's one of the most famous and breathtaking rooms in the cave. It's our next stop. It's called Paradise Lost. And
We walked right by that, so we get to see it close. That's very, very cool.
Postcards will make sense.
Yep.
hey everybody, when you go up these stairs here, there's actually rocks that are cemented into the side of the path here that you can hold on to. You can tell which ones they are. And they're the only other exceptions in that touching rules.
These instead of the ones you could hold on to.
Yeah, so there's some you can touch. Oh, that's pretty.
These must be the ones you can touch.
Not much point to that. They just blasted stuff out so they could see different parts. There's next to the rock there. Do move in and make room for everybody though. Be careful of the puddles. Puddle back right next to the rock you need to watch out for.
Push back.
Okay, I know it's drippy, so I'll make it quick. To find this is Paradise Lost. To find it, Dick Rowley had to free climb all the way up the cliff he just came up without using a rope or ladder, just to see what this room looked like. And one day he actually climbed all the way to the top of Paradise Lost here, but he didn't find anything else up there. Okay, you guys feel pretty deep now? Yeah, but the deepest point in the tour route, about 220 feet below the surface. You know what? It's all up from here. So So let's set up.
Yeah, those are cavemen.
Okay, so we go up the stairs behind me. There's a few things you'll want to look at. First, when you get halfway up the first flight, make sure to look to your right over in the little pocket there. And you'll be passing by some very beautiful formations on your way up. And when you get to that little landing there, make sure to look straight ahead of you. And to a passageway that's back there, and you'll see a big black arrow burnt into a rock back there. That arrow was put there in 1909 as a directional marker when this place became a national monument. And back in 1909, there were no tour guides, and people needed to find their way to the cave on their own. And they needed those arrows like the one you see up there, so they didn't get lost. Previously known as the Souvenir Road.
Feet print.
Coffee shop about halfway through.
Espresso boost.
Right.
There's not a lot back there, but I think they're
Really?
great.
In about 50 years, it probably will
Hold that
be.
candle in your mouth. Is that what they call wax mustache?
Okay. Now I mentioned way back in the beginning when we were still outside that the pathways in here were new. And they're no more than 6 years old, and in some cases they were just finished last spring. The old ones needed replacing, first of all because they were getting old, also they were made out of asphalt. Asphalt isn't too harmful to the cave itself, but it was an unnatural food source for the cave life. Because a lot of bacteria can eat petroleum products, and it was really disrupting the food chain inside the cave. And so they replaced it with the plain old concrete you're standing on right now. Nothing special about it. The concrete is a limestone base, its chemical makeup is very similar to the cave. Therefore, it really isn't too harmful. It's perfect material to use in here. Anyway, what I'm getting at is they're tearing up big chunks of the asphalt at the top of the stairs behind me. They tore up a chunk, and they found something underneath it. Found some bones. People had been walking over these bones for years and didn't even know they were there. They're from a black bear, and they're estimated to be into the tens of thousands of years old. Maybe even somewhere around 50,000 years old, although we don't have an exact date put to them just yet. And it's not where the bear died. It died somewhere else in the cave, and the bones were washed into the spot they are in now with a bunch of mud a long time ago. And so they're kind of broken and strewn around, but they're sitting right where they were found in a little display case on the ground. And they're in a small part of the path, so we just have to walk past them. And once you get past the bones, kind of start looking at the passageway we'll be going through.